Welcome to our third and final plenary reading of the Fornés Institute Symposium. Yes. We are going to be hearing a reading today of The House at 27 Rue de Fleurus by María Irene Fornés. And this comes from part 4 in the book Fornés in Context. The part 4 is Legacy. And so in this section of the book, I was charged with writing about Irene's final and incomplete works. And this led me to a Fornesian adventure in researching this play, which was written in 2001. Irene was commissioned by the acting company in New York City to adapt the autobiography of Alice B. Toklas. She wrote this 5-scene first part of her adaptation, and she went to Davidson College in Charlotte, North Carolina, and worked on it with students there, and also had some readings in New York. And so what we're seeing today is the recuperated draft of her 5-scene play that she wrote in 2001. And the play explores, as you've heard earlier today, the friendships between Gertrude Stein, Alice B. Toklas, and Pablo Picasso. Now it's my deep pleasure to introduce my colleague and the director of this reading, Katie Pearl.
Thank you. Thank you, Anne, especially for inviting me to direct this work. It's a really deep honor, and it has been a great gift, so I appreciate it. And especially, I appreciate having gotten to know you through our dramaturgical sessions over Zoom, which have been really satisfying. To be the first director to work on this script after Irene directed her early readings and drafts is, as I said, it's a huge honor. And I want to especially thank our players for this reading, Lori Woolery, Olga Sanchez-Saltveit, and Ken Preston-Ninzi over here, whom I invited to be actors in part because they're all primarily directors who themselves have relationships with Irene's work. And so the kind of think tank that we've been able to have in the rehearsal room has been just amazing and just what I was hoping for. And I appreciate you all so much. So thank you for uncovering everything with us. And also thank you to Macy Matir, who's been a big part of that think tank as well, who will be reading our stage directions. Anne pulled this, great. Anne pulled this play together from the archives, as she said, and she calls it a recuperation. For me, it is also a revelation, a window into a worldview that seems to be emerging as Irene moved into this late phase of her life. It's a worldview that allows for love and affection to exist between partners and friends, not as a tool of power or as a way to assert dominance and control as it shows up in so many of her plays, not as obsessive or transactional love or decadent, romantic, failing love, unrequited love, or love that ends in separation or death. No. In the world of 27 Rue de Fleurus, we find a love that is joyful and unfettered. There is a playfulness and ease of companionship to it. There is mutual and matched participation in this love. And importantly, we find the love between two women and the love between soulmates and friends. In the rehearsal room, we kept feeling like Irene was saying, what is sexier and more satisfying than shared creativity? The brain, the intellect, wordplay, ideas, conversation, and connection, living in a community of artists who feel as you do. What is more satisfying than spending afternoons with the woman you cherish, the friend you adore, collecting art, painting, working in the garden, writing? There is a happiness to this play that is wondrously free from conflict, free from the socioeconomic pressure cookers that warp so many of her other intimate relationships that she has written. Here in the house at 27 Rue de Fleurus, and for the first time, Irene writes, uncomplicated lesbian joy. Irene created moment to moment, living out what musician John Cage said, love is paying deep attention. This became the Rosetta Stone for our approach to this play. Gertrude and Alice paying deep attention with precision to the things and people that make up their lives, building their world for us as they go. So, to the play. The setting, it is October 1932, the living room and garden of the Stein Toklas residence, 27 Rue de Fleurus, Paris, France. In the living room, we have an antique couch in the center with a chair on either side, all surrounded by an oval rug. There is an oval-shaped coffee table with wooden legs in front of the sofa, a bowl of grapes on the table. Upstage, a window with a sheer white curtain along an elegant back wall. There are glass-paned French doors along the stage right wall. All right, actors to the stage.
Scene 1, Alice at the window.
The home in Rue de Fleurus consists of two separate buildings. One is the pavilion, which is a small two-story house. The other is the atelier, which is a large space where we work and keep paintings and books and other things. Each of the buildings has their own entrance. So when we come into the house, we can either enter through the pavilion door or walk to the atelier door and knock or use our key.
A bell rings.
Gertrude.
Gertrude comes in from the garden and closes the door.
Today, my dear, is October 12th. It's starting to get cold. Shouldn't you wear something warm?
I'll put on a jacket. Something warmer.
Sometimes it's colder here than in the yard.
Yes, it depends on yesterday's weather.
Yesterday, it was colder here than in the yard.
How's that?
The walls here held the temperature.
It's not warm enough not to wear a jacket.
You're right. It's not warm enough yet.
It's late for it to be this cold, isn't it?
It's late, but that's not unusual. It usually gets warmer, and then it gets a little cold again.
Yes. But not this year.
That's right. This year it was different. It never got warmer. It may still get warmer, though. It's not impossible. Mid-afternoon, it may get warmer.
Yes. Are you going out?
Do you have the time?
Gertrude swings her coat around her shoulder.
It's early yet.
Alice,
Yes?
is there someone else there?
Gertrude looks under the couch.
No.
Who were you talking to?
To myself.
And what were you saying?
I was wondering if I should go out or not.
And what was the answer?
I was thinking the soil needs fresh air just the way we do. It needs to breathe. It must have what it needs. We need to speak and to hear others speak and to have conversations and to be nourished by others and to nourish ourselves. And if we don't, we may lose our need to talk and then our need to think. And we may lose our speech and we will die and our souls will die.
Then there will be no one to listen to and no one to speak to?
Well, then we'll have to imagine that someone has listened.
But won't you need an answer?
It may suffice to imagine that someone would listen.
That's right. That's why we write books.
To imagine someone will listen?
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
Yes, sometimes someone will say they agree with us. Then they tell us how it is they agree. We don't want to disappoint them, so we don't tell them we never shared such a thought. We nod. Alice, would you mind helping me with something?
I would very much like to help you with something.
Are you going to have another grape?
Of course not.
Alice, goodness, I'm going to go work in the yard.
Gertrude goes to the garden and starts with a rake. Alice comes to the window to watch.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray.
You'll never know, dear, how much I love you.
Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. And when I woke, dear, I was mistaken.
So I hung my head.
Pablo! Oh, Pablo!
Pablo!
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Come to my garden, sweet damsels mine.
Come to my garden, sweet damsels mine.
Drink my libation, my nymphs.
Drink my libation, my nymphs.
Here's my heart, I bring you.
Here's my heart, I bring you.
Pablo offers each a beat and dances around the table.
This is my beat.
This is my beat.
Red like the heart.
Red like the heart.
This is the heart
This is the heart
of a passionate Catalan.
of a passionate Catalan.
Of a passionate Catalan.
Of a passionate Catalan.
Of a very passionate Catalan.
Yeah, of a passionate
Which
Catalan.
I am of a passionate Catalan.
Yeah,
Which I am. Ole!
which he is. Ole!
Very good.
Pablo just finished my portrait, haven't you?
Yes?
He likes it, you like it, I like it, but no one else likes it.
Why not?
I don't know.
Did someone say they didn't like it?
Yes.
Who said they didn't like it?
Everyone.
What was it they didn't like?
I don't know. Picasso likes it. You like it. I like it. It's a good portrait. But there's always someone who doesn't like something, isn't there, Pablo?
See.
Si, senor.
I know people who liked it. I know people who liked all of it, from top to finish, from beginning to end, from the very first stroke to the last stroke, the whole portrait in its entirety. Only those were few, very few. And most were relatives and dear friends. But that doesn't matter, because if we add all those who like some of it and figure out how many complete people they would make. Like, if we have 3 people who liked 1/3 of it, we can say that one person liked it, and if we have 4 people who liked 1/4 of it, we can add 1 more. See what I mean, Alice? And then we have lots of relatives and dear friends, and we'll invite lots of people. Who matters more than relatives and dear friends?
No one.
No one.
Are you telling me that you think no one could possibly like it but relatives and dear friends?
Gertrude, how could you think such a thing?
She implied it.
How could I have implied such a nonsensical thing?
Of course you couldn't have. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Pablo likes it. And you like it, and I like it, so that's all that matters. And who cares if no one else likes it?
Oh, Gertrude. I think everyone matters.
Oh, Alice, of course, everyone matters. You like it. I like it. Pablo likes it. And everyone should like it. This has been a good time.
Yes.
Pablo just started a new painting, and Matisse finished his biggest painting, which he calls The Joy of Living. And I'm doing proofs for 3 lives, and I'm writing a book, which so far is 1,000 pages long, and it looks like it's going to be much longer. And I've started something new.
Gertrude crosses around the table to the typewriter, walking like a figure in an Egyptian hieroglyph. After Gertrude begins typing,
What did you start, Gertrude?
The house at 27 Rue de Fleurus consists of a small 2-story pavilion, 4 small rooms, a kitchen, and a bath.
Alice moves to the side of the table.
That's where we live.
That's right, Alice.
Gertrude turns to Pablo.
What you're writing is taking place here.
Yes,
And who lives here?
we do.
We are in your book,
Yes, you are my book.
as always.
The book is about you.
You and I.
Yes.
And Pablo.
Yes.
Who else?
Wait till you read it.
We're all in your book?
Yes.
You're writing a book about us?
Yes. You're writing it.
I'm writing it.
Yes.
How?
Like now.
You're writing what I say?
I always do.
You flatter me.
You're my inspiration. I'm writing my joy and all the joy of all of us through you. All of us in this book, and I'm writing it through you, my dear,
Why?
because you're the source of all my joy.
Am I?
Yes.
Why?
You just are.
Alice breaks into a combination of a Latvian jig and an Irish polka.
Bravo, bravo.
Is it a sin to be so happy?
Yes, it is.
I'll be arrested.
I'll bring you soup to your cell.
You'll be arrested.
Then who'll take care of you?
I will.
Pablo will.
No one will, of course.
Why?
If you're in jail and Pablo's in jail,
Others will.
there's no one on earth but you.
Oh, there are others.
How dare you say that?
There's no one like you. But like me, there are many.
No, there aren't.
No, there aren't.
That deserves a toast.
It does.
It does.
Ole.
Ole!
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 Scene 2. Alice is at the couch. Gertrude and Pablo sit on the floor, listening to her.
My name is Alice B. Toklas. I was born in San Francisco, California, and I'm fond of music, flowers, and needlework. I'm also fond of furniture and houses and fruit trees. My mother's name was Alice. Her father was a pioneer. He went to California in 1849 and married my grandmother. Her name was Emily. She loved music and was a pupil of Clara Schumann's father. My father came from Polish patriotic stock. His granduncle was the colonel of a regiment he raised for Napoleon. And his father left his bride after their marriage to fight at the barricades. She cut off his supplies. And he then returned home to lead the life of a well-to-do landowner. In my childhood, I led the gentle existence of my class. I studied music and practiced assiduously. But my mother died, and there was no interest that led me on. Then, the San Francisco fire brought Gertrude Stein's brother Michael Stein and his wife home from Paris. And he had with him 3 Matisse paintings, which were the very first modern things to cross the Atlantic. And he showed them to us, and he told us stories about Paris. Within a year, I did come to Paris, and when I came to see Michael Stein and his wife,
Gertrude? Alice? My God! Ave memory purissima! Alice! Gertrude, ¿qué es esto? What are you doing? Alice! What happened to you? ¡Qué horror! ¡Adiós! Alice, Gertrude, están muertas. Mis amigas están muertas. ¡Qué horror!
Gertrude stands and extends her right hand toward Alice in a formal but loving gesture, beholding the one with whom she is consumed.
Good evening, Alice B. Toklas. I'm Gertrude Stein.
Alice extends her right hand in the same fashion as Gertrude.
good evening, Gertrude Stein. I am Alice B. Toklas.
Gertrude and Alice walk toward each other in a metered, almost dance step. Holding hands, they curtsy, then rhythmically walk together in a circle, stopping to curtsy twice more. After the second curtsy, they break.
Good evening, Alice.
Good evening, Gertrude. I was impressed by her coral brooch and by her voice. Good evening, Gertrude.
Yes, Alice?
Yes, Gertrude.
Gertrude goes out the door to the garden, and Alice remains in the pavilion.
We live in two buildings. One is the atelier, and the other is the pavilion. To go from one building to the other, we go through the yard and then into the other building. When it rains, we use an umbrella to go from one building to the other. If all the umbrellas are on the other side, we cover our heads with newspapers and bring some of the umbrellas back. Most of the paintings are in the atelier. When guests are invited to look at them, some are told to ring the bell of the pavilion, and others are told to knock at the door of the atelier. People enter the building in different ways. I was first invited on a Saturday evening, which was the evening when everyone came, and dinner was cooked by Hélène.
Hélène had been with us for 2 years. She's one of those excellent maids, thoroughly occupied with the welfare of their employers. She's an excellent cook and makes a wonderful souffle.
Scene 3. Alice in the stage right chair, Gertrude reclined on the couch, Pablo on the stage left chair.
The pictures covered the walls to the top of the ceiling. There were only lamps, and a stalwart guest held up the lamp while the others looked. I'll tell you about the pictures. We had pictures by Renoir, Manet, Vallotton, Picasso, Mangin, Toulouse-Lautrec, Gauguin. We had a portrait of Gertrude Stein by Vallotton. There was a little Daumier, many Cézanne watercolors. There were enormous Picassos of the Harlequin period. There were 2 rows of Matisses. There was a little Delacroix and a moderate-sized Greco.
Pablo, I'm thinking of writing a book. It will be entitled The Wives of Geniuses I've Sat With. This is because I have sat with wives of geniuses. I sat with wives who were not wives of geniuses and wives who were geniuses. I've sat with real wives of geniuses who were not real. I've sat with wives of geniuses, of near geniuses, and would-be geniuses. In short, I have sat long with many wives, and I've sat long with many wives of many geniuses. Fernand was the first wife of a genius I sat with. The first time we met, we talked hats. There were 2 subjects she enjoyed talking about, hats and perfume. A woman's hat must inspire smart and amusing comments from the men on the street. If that does not happen, the hat is a failure. Shortly after, in Montmartre, Fernand and I walked together on the street. She wore a very large yellow hat, and I wore a small blue hat. As we walked along, a workman turned and said, "Voila, there goes the sun and the moon, la sol y la lune." Fernand smiled at me and said, "See, our hats are a success."
Gertrude Stein called me and said she wanted me to meet Picasso. They began to talk about the vernissage of the Independent as everyone else was. Later, I was near Picasso. He seemed thoughtful.
Gertrude, do you really think I look like President Lincoln?
Let me see. No, I do not think you look like President Lincoln.
Look again, Gertrude.
I wish I could convey something of the simple affection and confidence with which he always pronounces her name,
Gertrude.
and with which she always says,
Pablo.
in all their long friendship, this has never changed.
Pablo goes over to the couch and begins looking at a photo album with Gertrude.
Sometimes I call Gertrude a Civil War general. She has photographs of the Civil War, and she and Picasso pore over them.
I didn't realize how completely American Gertrude Stein is.
Then he remembers the Spanish War, and he becomes very Spanish. And Spain and America could say very bitter things about each other's countries.
But at this, my first evening, I knew nothing of all of this, and I was polite, and that's all.
Gertrude is now standing behind stage left chair with Pablo on the couch and Alice in stage right chair.
We went to see Picasso and then to see Fernand. We went to the Odeon, and there we mounted an old horse-pulled omnibus that went steadily across Paris and up to the Place Blanche.
There, we got out and climbed to the Rue Lepic and then to Rue Ravignan, with its steps leading up to the little flat square with tender little trees. The cafe where we used to eat is still there. We went up a couple of steps and through an open door, passing on our left a studio in which later Juan Gris was to live out his martyrdom. And then we passed a steep flight of steps leading down where Max Jacob had a studio a little later. And we passed another steep little stairway which led to a studio where not long before a young fellow had committed suicide. Picasso painted a picture of his friends gathered around the coffin. We passed all this to a larger door where Gertrude Stein knocked and Picasso opened the door and we went in.
Alice and I went to Montmartre. I still have the same tender feelings I had then.
Scene 4, Alice at the window.
A strange picture of light and dark colors. That is all I can say, of a group, an enormous group. And next to it, in another sort of a red-brown of 3 women, square and posturing, all of it rather frightening. Picasso and Gertrude Stein stood talking together. I stood back and looked. I did not know what they were talking about, but I felt it was about something painful and beautiful and oppressive, but imprisoned. I heard Gertrude Stein say, "Let me see mine." Picasso brought out a small painting that he could not finish. 2 very pale, almost white figures. They were all there, unfinished and unfinishable. Picasso said that he will never accept it.
He will never accept it. But just the same, it is the only one which is all there.
Yes, it is the only one which is all there.
We have to go.
Pablo tiptoes to the door and poses.
We are going to have tea with Fernand.
Yes, I know.
Pablo moves into a Grecian statue pose.
Pablo!
Pablo, will you come with us for tea at Fernand's?
Of course.
Pablo tiptoes into the room.
How often do you see Fernand?
Oh, it's been weeks.
Well, anyway, we are going to have tea with Fernand. Miss Toklas is going to have lessons in French with Fernand.
What?
We're going to have tea with Fernand. Miss Toklas is going to have lessons in French with Fernand.
The Miss Toklas. With small feet like a Spanish dancer. And earrings like a gypsy. And a father who is king of Poland. Like the Poniatowskis. Of course she's like Poniatowskis. Of course she will take lessons.
We all laughed and went to the door. There stood a very beautiful man. "Oh, Agüero," said Picasso. "You know the ladies." "He looks like a Greco," I said. In English, Picasso caught the name. "A false Greco," he said. "Oh, I forgot to give you these," said Gertrude Stein, handing Picasso a package of newspapers. "They will console you." He opened them up. They were the Sunday supplement of American papers. They were the Katzenjammer Kid. He said, his face full of satisfaction.
Merci. Thanks, Gertrude.
And we left. We left then and continued to climb higher up the hill.
What did you think of what you saw?
Well, I did see something.
Sure you did. But did you see what was happening in those 2 pictures you sat in front of, the vernissage?
Only that the Picassos were rather awful. And the others were not.
Sure. When you make a thing, it's very complicated to make it. And it could be that it will be ugly. But those who make it after you don't have to worry about making it. They can just make it pretty. So when they make it, everybody can like it.
In earlier days, the Independent had its exhibition in a building where the rain came in. Indeed, it was because of this that poor Seurat caught his fatal cold. Now there was no rain coming in, and it was a lovely day, and we felt very festive. When we got in there, we were among the first to be there. There was an enormous Rousseau there, which was the scandal of the show. It was a picture of the officials of the Republic. That picture we did not know would one day be in the Louvre.
I knew.
Then we went on and saw a Matisse. There we were beginning to feel at home. We knew a Matisse when we saw it, enjoyed it, and knew it was great art. It was a woman lying among cactuses.
Yum, yum.
It would soon be in our home. There one day, the 5-year-old little boy of the janitor jumped into my arms as I was standing at the open door of the atelier, and looking over my shoulder and seeing the picture, cried out in rapture, "Ooh la la, what a beautiful body of a woman."
Scene 5. Gertrude, sitting and typing, stops and looks at Alice.
Is there something you want?
Do you need anything?
No. Thank you.
A new day, a new project.
How was your yesterday project?
It was good.
What was yesterday's project? Oh, yesterday's project was cleaning the garden.
Alice sits. She looks at Gertrude and waits for her to speak.
Oh, yes. I was thinking we have done a great many things this year, Alice, haven't we?
Yes, indeed. You did. I only helped.
Oh, no. You didn't just help. You didn't just help. Alice, no. No, without you, you did it too.
Lights fade. End of play.
That's so fast.
Thanks, team. So this resolves our third reading of the day, and unlike the previous two readings, we're not going to break out into breakouts, but I'm going to invite some colleagues to join me on the stage after we do some little bit of setup. So there's a few minutes to, if you want to stretch your legs, or even if you want to run out to take a comfort break, but we'll be back in just a few minutes to begin our final conversation of the day, a roundtable conversation about the futures of Fornés.